close to 10 years ago, I think this was 2014, right? There was a website called bridesthrowingcats.com.
Yeah, I remember that.
That was a real thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is a real thing.
It was a real thing.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
And then,
It was
there
trending.
was rich cat and poor cat.
No.
Do you guys know that?
No. Let me rewind.
Anyway, it was the same time trending. Anyway, go.
Just telling my story. All right. So,
Anyways, two separate trends.
it's two different stories. Right. So this bride sends me this website. Say, hey, can I do something like this? Just Photoshop the bouquet out of the bouquet toss and just replace it with a cat. I was like, yeah, I can do that. Right. So I did this for this one bride down in Miami, and she shared it, and it got me on Good Morning America.
Oh my God.
That's awesome.
That's what you went viral for?
That's what I went, out of all the things that I could get viral for in my business, I got viral. That was my 15 seconds of fame.
How many weddings did you book from that?
0. Nothing, right? They gave me photo credit too. My name was Ben Lowe Photography.
They were like, we don't want that. We know not to
They
book.
didn't even show the bride and groom. They zoomed it into the cat.
We don't want that cat photographer.
So anyway, every other year, somebody will, when you Google my name, for whatever reason, this picture shows up. So if you Google, so it's like, I'm known for that one, that one picture. So anyway,
throwing cat photos.
So
check down.
So it's like Ben, Brian's throwing cats or whatever, and I have at least 3 to 4 pictures up there, right? So more recently, I went to photograph an engagement session out in Villanova. It was raining that day, so we had to shoot inside. So the only indoor spot was this. It was called the President's Lounge. Basically, all the past campus presidents at the college, all their portraits are on the wall, right? You go in there, just 100 pictures of old white guys, right? So the bride's like, "Can we do something about these old white guys in the picture frames?" I was like, "Sure, you guys got a pet?" And it was their cat. So
I thought it was like a random picture.
no, that's their cat.
It's their cat.
So instead of throwing
It's
a cat,
gotta be their own cat.
I thought about using Photoshop to just put some random ass cat in there, but I thought it might be more meaningful.
Yeah,
if it's their cat, So that's what we did.
You didn't properly give Photoshop credit.
To you?
You gave it to yourself.
You did that. You did the throwing cat. You did it.
All his Photoshop work is done by me.
So he's passing it off as his own.
Yeah, this recent post, he's like, "Oh, Photoshop master Ben." I did. I was like, "What?"
No. I don't think I did.
Yes, you did.
We're about to contact photo stealers.
Your work, my work, our work.
I was like, "What did you just do?"
Oh
He said
my
something
God.
like, Photoshop master, leave it up to. I'm like, what?
You're full of it.
Yeah.
Canceled.
I like how you try to throw the husband and wife line on her, which is a perfect segue into our conversation today. Your work is my work.
All right, you guys ready to start this podcast or what?
Yeah.
We are. Yeah. Let's get focused in here.
Ben doesn't want to get ragged on anymore. Let's go.
Hey guys, welcome to the Focused AF podcast. My name is Ben.
I am Karis.
This is Jen.
This is Ro.
And we are Focused AF.
Trying to be.
Are we?
We are a little bit. Your drinks are a little strong today. So we're doing things a little bit different today because I am not the bartender today. So the drinks are actually pretty good.
They are.
They have the normal amount of alcohol in the drinks. So.
It might seem normal, but there's
This
four
is actually the first drink Karis hasn't made a face on.
Very good.
Yeah, there's 4 different liquors
Because
in here.
it's not made by Ben.
Ben has a heavy hand.
I do.
He does.
And the thing, what was really sucky about it, I'll give you guys a little bit of backstory too. Like on the way to our new shooting studio.
He's going to talk about
Our
this.
permanent shooting studio?
Our new shooting
Yes,
studio.
we are in our new beautiful space.
Yeah. So-
We've upgraded. We're making so much money. Here we
We
are.
have AC.
We have AC in here. We don't have to suffer. So on the way here, Jen and Ro asked me for some ingredients. Of course, I had it, and it was a half a bottle of triple sec, and the whole bottle emptied itself into my
spilled it?
backseat.
Yeah, who
spilled it?
and blaming me.
Oh
While he was driving, he just took the cap off
Spill it.
like a grenade.
No, I think something happened back there while she was messing around with it.
She's like,
I wasn't
See,
messing
there we
up.
go.
Spill
Blaming the
Photoshop
wife.
credit. Photoshop. You want me to
She's
go
like,
back to the Photoshop?
it's time for a new car.
That car's like over 10 years old. I think we're okay. I mean, would it be a waste to detail like a 12-year-old car?
Never. No, you should detail it. You should.
It's like $200, right?
Depending on how severe the inside is, it could be anywhere between like $200 or $300. Yeah, it's worth it though. They'll make it look brand new again.
But we need exterior done too.
No, I forgot the exterior.
Yeah.
It's
Do both.
It's all scuffed up.
Yeah, but
It's all scratched up.
they'll polish it, and some of the scuffs will come off
I don't
as
know.
long as it's not too deep. But the inside, they'll make it look brand new.
All right. Well, we'll think about it. Yeah, the cars have been cleaned in like,
Or
I don't
we'll
know,
sell it.
almost 10 years. No, don't sell it. We have no car
It's-
payments right now.
as long-
Well, either way, if you're gonna sell it, detail it anyway because it looks gonna look way better.
Yeah, you're going to enjoy yourself in the car a little bit more. Hold on to it for a little bit longer, you know?
Okay.
Karen's always trying to spend our money.
Yeah, I was
you know?
like, I need a small, compact.
It's like it's
luxury
both
car.
Karis. It's Karis and the Molina brothers trying to get me to spend money. You know? Like I can't deal with these
The
guys.
Molina
You know,
brothers.
spending my own money. Okay.
All right. So,
Speaking of wives and husbands bickering, we have a great episode today.
What do we have? What do we have in store for us today?
We have our
Who's
very,
here?
very, very special guests, our besties,
Yeah.
Moses, Cruz, and Steph of Moses Cruz Photography,
How are you guys doing? Thank you for having us here.
hello, aka
Hello.
our brother and sister from another mother, our travel buddies, our Disney buddies.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we brought on Moses for. We thought we all had some very interesting dynamics about all being husband and wife teams. But before we get into that, Mo, tell us a little bit about. Actually, first, let's tell us a little about you and Steph. How you met, when you got married. Give us all the good stuff.
Introduce yourself.
Introduce yourself.
Oh boy.
You want to do
Spill.
this or you want
No,
me to do
you do it.
All right. So we actually met in church. We used to go to the same church. Well, we still go to the same church, but we met in church a long time ago. We met on a New Year's Eve. We got engaged on a New Year's Eve. Then we got married about 2 years after that.
We
Our
just
New Year's
knew.
Yeah, New Year's Eve.
Not on New Year's Eve. We
It just happened. We just knew.
yeah, we just knew pretty quickly. So that part of our life moved pretty
A little
quickly.
more of the backstory. Stephanie was eyeing you from the church.
No, Stephanie
stage, huh?
didn't know I existed.
Actually, I think that's a lie because we all know that you were pretty famous.
Yeah.
I'll be honest, because I was just at that time I was like in and out, so I didn't want to like. I was like not really into it,
Yeah.
so
Yeah, she didn't really want to be there. Kind of.
Yeah,
per
I
se.
didn't know anybody. I didn't know a lot of people.
But
So
yeah,
I
she didn't
even know him.
She had no
like-
clue who I was. She had no clue I existed. My parents actually introduced her to me. But yeah, then we hit it off pretty quickly
Yeah.
right away.
did your parents intentionally try to like hook you guys up?
They were trying to get rid of me.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
So it was like that kind of hookup.
get him out of the house.
But yeah, then in terms of photography, like we kind of became interested in photography together. I actually bought her a camera because she wanted to be a photographer before I did, and she never used it.
Oh.
And so
Yeah, I'm
didn't
more of
know
a
this.
paper pencil girl. Like I draw.
Yeah.
I technology. ugh.
yeah, she's always been into art, but like she doesn't like anything digital or
Yeah,
electrical. Or
Mhm.
go ahead.
Yeah, you said it.
Yeah, so I bought her the camera. She never used it. I picked it up. And long story short, I kind of started the business on my own and then brought her into it a long time after when she finally kind of like,
I mean, I did assisted for you.
yeah, she was always
lot,
involved
yeah.
in it, but like she was never like fully in
Yeah.
it until much later.
So
when
I knew a
finally
lot of the
convinced her.
back end, like the whole background. Like I was more in the background. So
But you were also involved because he would always vent to you about everything.
100%.
oh yeah,
I always say it.
Oh,
I
yeah.
mean this. Like, even though she wasn't in the business
She was
like
in it.
full time, she was in it. She was 100% in it. Like, nothing happened without
Not
her.
getting paid like a full-time employee
yeah.
or therapist.
She,
Yep.
yeah, part-time reviewer, therapist, everything. But also during that time, she was like my biggest cheerleader. So
Yeah,
Yeah.
Ben Lau Photography had a very similar story where, Karis's name wasn't on the logo, but she was very much a part of that operation.
Mhm.
So it was something that, that went on for, I don't know, at least 12 years until the pandemic hit. That's when we realized that
She just had enough of you.
pretty much, I think she had enough of me to year one.
Cash was like, time to go.
Yeah, we needed to correct that because the thing is, because it was only my name on the logo. Are you okay? I haven't even got to the punchline yet.
Wrong pipe, sorry.
So, I think one of the biggest struggles that we had, and maybe you guys can speak to this as well, because Karis's name wasn't on the logo, even though she was very much at least half of the operation. She's doing at least half of the work, sometimes even more than half of the work. She wasn't getting her due credit because her name wasn't on the logo, right? So
That happens a lot.
that's why we split our brands the way that we did. That way Karis could finally
Because at that point, it's too late to kind of rebrand.
Yeah, we're like 10 plus years in at that point.
Ben and Karen.
Or the
A
Yeah.
little bit of a
Yeah,
sore
what are we
spot
gonna
for
change
me
to?
right
We
now.
talk about that.
Yeah.
We talk about that every now and then. She's got a big chip on her shoulder because of that. Because it's called Moses Cruz Photography. But like I said, she's been involved in it since the beginning. And now that we're both in it full time, it really is the both of us. But the branding is there. Like,
Yep.
not to say I'm famous or anything, but like people, when they
You're
they get
not?
referred, not even a little. But when they get referrals, it's from Moses Cruz
Yes,
Photography.
yes.
But we've done a good job of kind of incorporating like her every way possible. So like recently, if you look at all our reviews, if you look at all the
Yep.
emails that we
Yep.
get,
That's where
everything
you
is
will see it.
addressed
Yep.
to both of us.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Karis'
Yeah.
name is in all the reviews.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
That's where you see it. Yep.
It's a good conversation to have, though. Like, if you at some point want to rebrand, it can work either way.
It could work, but it's a lot of like let's say social media. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you
Like-
got to start changing all your
Yeah.
handles, and it's basically starting from.
Yep, and
from-
people
from-
all of a sudden it used to be Moses Cruz. They'll look up Moses Cruz and then like
What happened to
Yeah.
him?
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's,
and then
there's a
like, oh my God.
reputation attached
yeah,
to it.
and then
you know?
your website, like
I mean,
of course
that's
you could
tech,
direct
that's
it,
tech
but-
stuff. You can redirect it.
Yeah,
You can forward
but,
the,
you know.
But it's hard to
URL.
come up with a name.
Yeah,
That's why we have
name.
cheesy J and R.
Well, yours and JR since day one.
Yeah.
Junior. I had a bride's stepmother call me Junior.
Yeah.
Junior for Tony.
She goes, Junior, like, I love your work, Junior.
Junior for Tony.
I was like, my name's not Junior.
Is it Tony?
That's so hilarious.
Because of the
I can see
JR,
that.
yeah,
Yep,
she
yep.
said-
That's
That was
hilarious.
hilarious.
We're like,
Junior
"Oh,
photography."
Junior.
It's like people assuming, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
Like,
She was a big fan of our work, too. It's just funny that she
that's
called us
cute.
Junior.
That's cute.
But one thing we ask everybody as a guest is how much did you charge for your first wedding? It's like a thing that we ask everyone.
yeah.
Man.
We're trying
So-
to see if somebody went as low as we did.
What was the first one, babe?
So it was a wedding event. I
Like
wasn't really
very
covering. Yeah, the very first one that I charged for.
I remember.
This is embarrassing to
I
say.
remember.
So literally, I only covered like 3 hours of the event. Then the person who referred me was like, "Please, could you do a favor for this couple? He's in the military. She's pregnant. They're about to have a baby. Can you do it for $60?"
Oh,
He beat us.
How many hours? How many hours?
3 hours. It wasn't like a full day.
$20 an
but-
hour.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
But I mean, look, I'll speak to the eagerness of like the hunger that you have in that part of your career, and like
Wait, it's not about the money.
it's not about the money, because if they would have told me, listen, they can't afford anything, I would have been like, cool, I'll be there.
Yeah.
When they told me $60, I was like, score, you know, like
I'm getting something.
yeah. I mean, you grow. Everybody grows.
Yeah.
And there's a place you start from. I was fine with that at that time.
$60.
$60.
Where was the wedding?
It was it was just the reception part. I think that was in Union, and we were living at Avenel at the time, so it was like
It's
a
not
20,
too far. Okay.
No, it was like a 20-minute drive.
Yeah, they didn't make you drive. All the way there.
And I think I don't remember what event it was, but someone gave us a $5 bill for something.
A $5
and
what?
that was like
No,
our
it
first
wasn't an
profit.
event.
It was like
For a print?
So yeah, for a print. Yeah, I sold some
$5
prints.
it was our first profit, and I still have that $5 bill.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Still have it. Yeah.
Yeah, we keep a lot of souvenirs. Well, I keep a lot of souvenirs from when we
You
first
do.
started.
You do.
I have our like original business cards.
Yeah, I have stationery left over, little things, little trinkets. I like keep one of everything just to have a little history.
I have the original box of prints that I used to run around with for my presentations,
so not
my consults. These ugly ass prints from Costco.
Karen's like, get rid of it.
Throw
You
everything
should
out.
show them on your live one day.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You
I mean,
should-
I
you should go
have
through
one.
it.
I have one that I still show.
You know what you should show? Our scheduling book, Moleskin. So we used to write, it was before digital.
No, man, digital was around when
digital,
I started.
but
Ben just refused to subscribe to it.
There were those CRMs.
There's like books and books of like every year our scheduling book.
Oh,
of
that's
Moleskin.
cute.
You should burn those.
Yeah.
You should burn those.
Burn. Why?
Yeah, you never watch Casino? That's how they got caught.
I'm not doing illegal accounting in those books.
The first wedding.
First wedding.
First wedding, $60.
Second wedding.
$60.
What about second wedding?
I think our second wedding, I was around 5 hours of coverage, and I think I charged them like $350.
Nice.
$70
It's a
an
big
hour.
jump.
Yeah.
Big jump.
Not bad.
Yeah, you
How
tripled
did
in price.
how did that second wedding happen? Was it like a referral?
Yeah,
or-
that one was a referral.
From that
So at
60
that point, we again, I'm gonna say it in my context because she wasn't in it yet. But well, I was just shooting a lot of portraits. They found out about me from a family session that I had done and asked if I did a wedding. And that's the time in your career where you're like, yo, I do everything.
Yes.
And you only
Reverse.
had one body. And
I
I,
had one
remember.
camera
What
body.
body were you shooting with?
I think a D7000.
Oh, you started way ahead of us.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Guess what? I just,
High
sold my 7,000. Guess what I got for it?
We were talking about this. Wasn't
Yeah,
it like
yeah,
$4 or something like that?
$50.
$50.
No. $25. $25.
25.
700. I got $50 for.
Wow.
You still have it? You get
No,
50
no,
bucks
no.
for it.
You sold it?
25.
I sold.
Got
Yeah,
25
I
for
tried to sell everything because she's a minimalist. So you know,
can't keep anything.
nah, can't keep nothing.
I'm surprised you're still here.
Yeah, I'm always on the chopping block, man. I'm always.
Ha, ha.
She's Marie Kondoing me all the time. She'll look at me and I know she's just
bring
thinking,
you
does he bring me joy? When I see her just staring at me, I was like, I got to do some kind of dance, something to make her happy right now.
You gotta show your worth.
What's your contribution, Moses?
So after your first couple of weddings by yourself, you were, and we talked about this in the second shooter episode about how you were like the second shooting superstar.
For everyone.
For a little
Everyone.
while. So that was again that eagerness. Like I was gonna shoot for anybody, everybody, anytime that I
price.
could. Facts. I worked for Ben a lot.
$20 an hour.
I have $3.
Ben was good to me. I won't lie. Ben was good to me. But yeah, I spent a lot of time second shooting, and it was just to take the opportunity to learn, to figure out what are the typical processes to get exposure to like people who had experience where I couldn't get experience right on my own. So yeah, that just dove in and did that as much as I could.
And when did you make the leap? And I'm just bringing this up because we were witness to the leap. And
Same
You
here.
were
we
witness to the
pushed you a
leap.
little bit too.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah. So for us,
Tell us how that process
for
was.
me, it was 2017 where I finally.
Wow,
it was. Let me see. I had
6 years already?
6 years already.
Yeah, 6 years already.
crap.
So that year I had 20 of my own weddings. I think I second shot like 35 weddings that year, and I had a full-time job and couldn't take it anymore.
You were making bands.
I was seeing
racking
him
up.
less and less and less.
yeah, wasn't spending time with her. Wasn't
You weren't bringing her joy because you weren't there.
exactly. That's a form of joy, actually, not being there. But yeah, so that was the year that I was like, all right, I think I'm gonna make the jump, and finally did.
Yeah, you did it the smart way. Like, you did it the safe way. Some people just take the jump without really thinking about the financials.
Yeah, I mean, I'll say I was also in a really fortunate position because we were trying to buy a house at that time. We were renting, and my parents offered to let us move in with them. So that was a big security blanket to not have to worry about rent or mortgage or anything like that.
There was no
So
excuse.
There was absolutely no excuse.
Yeah.
And also, it was a timing thing. Like, I had a conversation with Steph, and I said, listen, at the age that we're at and the place that we are in our lives, like, I feel like if I don't do it now, I'll never do it.
And I
so-
just saw how happy it made you. I was like, just do it, babe. Just do it.
Yeah,
That's it. It's now or never.
Mhm.
but that was the jump right there.
Yep.
Still mooching off my parents. I'm gonna do it now.
General, right? Why don't you guys tell us your first experience coming across Moses? Well, how did he come into
Oh,
your
yes.
radar? Let's talk about that too.
Well, he came into your radar first.
Yeah, so we were a part of the same, me and Moses were a part of the same Facebook group, the local Jersey, which is Better Together, Central Jersey. In this group, it was very active. We would constantly post our work because we were in a similar trajectory at the time. We were both starting out, trying to get our name out there, and also looking for second shooter work. So a lot of people confused our work for one another. So it just made sense when he was looking for a second shooter. I think I responded, or you hit me up.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, I'll help you out. And at the time, we were in the process of moving to New Jersey, and he was like, what, 15 minutes from me?
Yeah. And this is
Yeah.
actually before we went full time because that was
Yes.
back in 2015.
Right,
I
right.
remember.
So I started second shooting for Moses, and we just been friends ever since.
Yeah, you shot with each other a lot, right?
Yeah,
So-
I was probably doing like 15, 20 weddings with you.
Yeah.
Yeah, at least
like
he was
a good
definitely
5
like
years.
the preferred second shooter that I had.
Yeah.
And he would always work for me because obviously they were working together
Mm-hmm.
since the beginning. They didn't need a second shooter. But because I couldn't convince Steph early enough to get into the business, I always needed a second shooter, so I would always
I
go
mean,
to roll first.
she was still there with us.
A lot of times, yeah, she
Yeah,
would
there's
Four of you
assist.
going out to shoot?
No, the three of us.
Oh.
For Moses
Sometimes I would pick up the camera.
and come out.
Yeah.
I would always have like an extra bot.
Sometimes,
So
yeah.
this
Oh,
comes
that's
from.
right. Like, yeah,
I would always have
remember.
extra
Yeah.
gear, and I would say like, hey, just pick it up, do whatever.
It
You
was
know,
mainly like during ceremonies. I remember,
Yeah.
like she would just like, cause like there's no pressure for her,
Yeah.
so she would just walk around getting like moments and stuff like that. And then when Steph couldn't make it, Jen would fill in as well.
I'll be the assistant. Easiest
yeah.
job ever.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like that's how we became really good friends.
Yeah.
You know.
Making
I
a
don't know
face
about that.
because she would be like,
I don't know about that.
we,
and like Boulder told me nothing to do
that is
anything.
absolutely something we could talk about when the time comes up. But like your perspective of how I am as a lead shooter versus her, I
Okay.
would love the comparison.
That's because you guys are a couple, so it's different.
Yeah, the chemistry's different.
You don't want to be told what to do by your spouse.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah. That's
Everything
what it
gets
comes
on your
down to.
nerves.
I don't tell Karis what to do when
How
we're
dare
together.
you?
Yeah, I don't tell her. I don't
See,
tell
but
her
it's
shit.
it's different. So when she was assisting for me, right? She wasn't shooting; she was assistant, and I would ask for assistant tasks. But
I'm so sorry, babe.
Hey, no, just tread carefully. Tread carefully. You got a beautiful house here. I would like you to stay in this house.
look, this is not. I hope I'm not putting myself in the
I
doghouse here.
remember one.
The
I
with
remember.
Matt, when I was
I
shooting
feel
for Matt.
bad. He asked me to go get something, and he was right above it.
It
I'm
was the
like,
rapid
it's
box.
right there. You could get
So
it.
we were
Get
standing
yourself.
together, and I'm like trying to plan out my lighting for the reception
I'm
and
so
whatnot.
sorry,
and she's
babe.
standing next to me, and this was before she was shooting, so I was shooting. It was just me shooting, and I'm like, okay, I need to do this, I need to do that. Steph, can you grab me the 70 to 200? And she's like, it's right there. And
I'm so sorry.
I look at her, and I'm like, why did I bring you?
Oh yeah, that's right. I'm assisting for you.
Yeah, I don't expect Karis to do anything when we go out together.
Because I am not your assistant.
You're not.
I'm the lead shooter of you.
Karis is the lead. If it's like, okay, hey, Karis, John,
How
or Ben
dare you.
Algo.
The fact that my name's on a logo is just.
I mean,
it's
doesn't
just a
matter.
formality.
Yes,
It
doesn't
mean
matter.
anything.
They all know it's Karis Lau.
But that kind of, I think, sums up how all the interaction that we had when we met, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also, you were the link to how we became friends with Ben as well.
Yes.
Because we met independently also.
Yeah.
We
Yes.
met you
We
guys
met
before
you
General.
first.
Yeah.
We met
Right.
you first.
Yeah.
I could tell you, I remember it was 2014. We were competing for the same client.
You and I?
Yes.
Yes. Which is
And-
why we've had a load of resentment between us since the beginning. It's never left.
And, I think 2013, 2014, back then during my consults, I was like, hey, who else are you guys talking to? Right?
Yeah.
And they would say, oh, this guy named Moses Cruz. I was like, oh, okay. And I check out this motherfucker, right? And I was like,
I'm gonna crush him.
I'm going to destroy him. Right? Anyway, it turned out to be a nice guy.
Ben
so.
was the one that was like, you can get him for $350, right?
If it's too good to be true.
No, but that's the first time he came into my radar. But I don't know when's the first time we started hanging out.
I think
So-
you were looking for shooters.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I think that's how I found out
Yep.
about you as well. But you put in a
PPS shooters.
Yeah,
right?
you were looking for shooters.
Yep.
I think you were specifically looking for associate shooters, but I
Right.
applied. We met up anyway, and I ended up working more as a second shooter for you.
Mhm.
Yep.
Yeah.
But that's how we actually met and started hanging out.
Yep.
And one of the most impressive things that as we became good friends with Moses and our interactions with him over the years, right? One of the most and I don't know if I share this with you, but I share this with any opportunity I get, even on the lives and everything. People can second shoot their way to a full blown career. You are that example for me. And the most impressive thing was Moses' approach in the way that he always came from a place of service. You know what I mean? Like even before I met with him on that first meeting, right? I never met this guy before. And he shows up, I went through your entire portfolio. I know what you need, right? Is this what you need? Blah, 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 blah. And I was like, okay. I mean, clearly you did your homework. How much do you want? He's like, I'll take whatever you want to pay me. And I was
Which
like,
is crazy, right? Because there's a whole group of new generation of shooters that are trying to charge you like the most $100 an hour.
we'll talk about that in a minute, right?
But what I'm getting to is like the hustle.
Right. So I didn't know what the going rate was. He's like, listen, you pay me whatever you want to pay. And I understand that. And I told him, I was like, we're just starting this associate brand. Like, I don't know how much I can pay. He's like, don't worry about it. To me, this relationship that we'll have with you, that's more important to me. I don't know if you remember saying that. It was.
I do.
It was like it was a core memory for me.
A core memory.
He's like that. He reached out to me that way. He's like, to me, the relationship with you is more important than whatever you were planning to pay me, right? So I was like,
Did you realize what was going to come?
I did
never got rid of it.
Shit, I should have charged him more.
That's if there's one regret in my business. I'm just kidding.
no. But like shortly after, like a year or 2 years later, you're like, yeah, Ben, I'm ready to start my own thing.
Yep.
And then we're like, yeah, man, you're
Do
ready,
it,
man.
yep.
Go for it, man. We were so proud of you
Yeah.
when you finally pulled that trigger.
Yeah, that was. I appreciate that. I don't think you have ever shared that with me, so I appreciate that, and I'm glad that it's on video.
Never both need a boost. Give me that video clip.
I'm gonna play that back. I'm gonna make sure.
Every day.
I'm gonna download this episode.
Just take the clip, right, and
Pretty much,
upload
pretty much
it.
the ringtone. That's your
Upload it
ringtone.
to YouTube, and during his live, just keep pasting it on the comments.
No, but for real, it's like, I think you would be a great role model for a lot of folks who are coming into the industry
You are,
and
yeah.
they don't know where to start, right? Well, Moses Cruz fucking did it. You know what I mean? And he didn't feel shortchanged or anything like that. He came in with a positive attitude. I think maybe we could talk about that today or next episode or whatever. Right? Like just having the right attitude when you go about doing this. Coming from a place of service, serving your clients, serving your colleagues, finding ways to be of service to others.
I have to say, because I know a lot of the context have been about me, but that's a principle that really comes from Steph. Like since we met, the level. This is not a prop. This is my wife.
Not generative film.
No, the level of compassion and like just serving people, that absolutely comes from her, and she's always made it a point to be like, hey, this goes first. Before success, before profit, before anything else, it's serving people, helping people, being good to people.
Unless they ask you to bring you a 7200.
What happened to those beliefs?
Well, apparently
it's over there.
it's a totally different dynamic between husband and wife. So let's start there.
All right, we spoke a lot about Moses. Steph, what were you doing before you came on with MCP? And tell us how you came on.
So I was a teacher's assistant for special education in the public schools in Elizabeth for 7 years, I think it was, right? 7?
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, I was back and forth because I really want to do something in fashion. And I was like, you know what, let me just work here and let me just work hard and save as much as I can and go to school at the same time. And I was going to school for a bit. And then I was like, just one day I'm like I don't know if it was because I felt like, my age or something. And then I even like asked the professor, like, how are the jobs out there and what are they getting paid? And he told me, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to put a stop here. My last semester, I'm done. I left school. And then I just kept working. And then I think COVID happened, right?
Yeah, so
It
for
was
a while,
around that time.
She kept working, but like without a direction in like what she really wanted
Yeah, I had
to do.
no
per se,
direction. I really like art. I love it.
which I always saw as my opportunity to be like, since you're not busy, what do you think about this?
All the time. All the time. And I don't know, just COVID happened and he just like, I saw this thing like, oh, he's doing great. And like, what am I going to? And I was shooting here and there. And he did like, oh, babe, these are good pictures. But I'm like, I don't know. Because I like to put myself down. I'm very hard on myself. And then I was like, you know what? Let me just give it a try. And I went for it. Man, did I.
It was a longer journey to make you go for it, though.
It took me a year, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
To make that decision.
Year or more, I think. I feel like.
Yeah.
You kept pushing it back.
Transition.
Wait, every time we
was
saw Steph,
scared.
we was like, Steph, are you leaving your job yet? No.
I'm
I
still
was
thinking about
scared.
it.
I was
And
really
you were,
scared.
like they weren't treating. She was like they weren't treating her well at her older.
No, it's
older
not.
job, right?
It's
Or-
not really. I mean, not to put down the position, but it's. I don't feel like it was a career. It was just a job. You show up, you watch kids for a little
Yeah,
while.
yeah.
There was no college
No
required. There was no
growth.
training. Yeah, there was no
There was
growth
no
track.
growth.
It was just like show up, do this for us, and go home.
And stressful.
Then one of the things that I
Yeah.
think really made her like kind of say, okay, I'm done with this is in that particular district, they used to allow teachers assistants to be like full-time employees with benefits. And
I
then they
remember this. Yeah, yeah,
subcontracted
yeah.
everything. So now your benefit level was totally different. It was a different company. They refused to do like full-time employment. And she had been there for 7 years.
Yeah. Yeah.
At that time, when she made the decision, I think it was like 6 years. And I was like,
Yeah.
they're taking more possibility away. Why are you
Yeah.
still there? So-
Yeah.
She went from
Yep.
I mean-
little benefits from that job to no benefits.
Right.
When she did.
I will say, I will say though, I did learn a lot at this job.
Yeah.
I didn't grow in like, I guess career wise you could say, but I did do some growing in myself. Like I
course,
grew,
of course.
I matured in areas. I learned to trust myself more. I figured I realized I'm more resilient in certain things. And yeah, like I don't know, my heart grew like for these kids. Like I still think about them, but it changed me.
Yeah.
I will say it was a season.
Your commute was also longer after a while too.
It was
after
like-
you guys moved to Monroe.
2 hours.
Yeah.
Oh, my
So
goodness.
I remember
2 hours
that
one way.
was more of one of the factors too. I remember you were complaining all the time about.
Yeah, because around the time that I mean, when I first started, so to set dates, just so you know how resilient I am, 2017, we had moved in with my parents. Later on that year, I left my full-time job to work full-time. And the very next day, I'm like, you should do the same thing. Quit your job. Let's do this.
Well,
And
this
she
is
was-
great.
So she didn't
I woke up
actually.
late today.
She didn't
But late for Mo
actually.
is like 8 a.m.
Yeah, for me, like 8:15, I'm already like, all right, time to go. But she didn't actually leave her job until the end of the school year in 2021.
Yeah,
So,
I was scared. I was
It took 4
really
years for me to
scared.
convince her.
Yeah,
All of us. We would have how many therapy sessions to get Stephanie to leave her job?
Karis left after 6 months, watching me working in my gym shorts and stuff. Like, she was working at the
Because I was working full time and I was working on weekends with you, and you're
Oh,
making me
yeah,
edit,
yeah.
you're making me do Photoshop.
Photoshop me, cat.
I don't even get credit for. Hello, we're like it was Karis Law Photography.
She's like, I'm out.
Ben is the face.
I'm just the face.
He's
The
the,
person that talks.
it was a good setup though. That was your fall guy, if anything, right?
Yeah.
Just blame him, right?
So we all
Yeah.
had like scattered
Yeah.
like departures because I left first and Ro left.
You left first?
Yeah.
I stayed.
I left the year
Because-
before Moses did.
2016.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the thing. Like it was the both of us, so we had to
Rolando
supplement.
was holding on to his job.
Yeah, we had to supplement.
And it was an overnight job.
And then
We
he
were holding
came
on to it tight.
Yeah, so we had to supplement 2 incomes, and we had just bought a house.
Yeah.
So, well, this was later on because we were still in an apartment when you went full time, right?
Yes.
No.
No.
Yeah, we just bought a house. So I said, you know what? Since you handle all the customer service, I technically just shoot and edit. I could do that. While
Still
I
just
work.
shooting at it.
Yeah, but now we were able to supplement my income. So but since she was the one that was like more important to the business to grow it, we figured she goes full time first, and that's exactly what happened. I didn't go full time till like just 3 years ago.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
around COVID, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
2019. I said I'm gonna
Yeah.
fuck up 2020.
Well, I think we all said
And then
that.
he went back to work in the same job in 2020.
The same job that I left is calling me because like their workers had COVID, so I have to go fill in for everyone that had COVID.
Yeah, you're the only one that had a job during COVID.
Yeah, you were.
You were the only one
Like,
Dear life.
lucky you.
Yeah, but that kind of goes back to what I was telling you. Like you did it in a safe, smart way. I feel like we also did it that way too. Like because we could have been reckless and both of us could have went full time at the same time. Yeah. You-
And you guys had kids too.
Yeah, but you also had a buffer too because you guys
Yeah.
said that you
Yeah,
were
we were
living.
living off of
with-
our parents.
Yeah, so
So we had no rent.
yeah, so
Isn't it
Like
nice?
500. We were
No,
contributing.
it was 1,000. It was 1,000 a month.
I don't think so. It was
No, it
500.
was 1,000. It was 1,000 a month.
but that's still pretty affordable.
I was just taking half
It
of
was
that.
later when we moved downstairs
She's like,
to bigger
tell
space.
Ben it's 1,000 and you give me 5.
He has it in his moleskin still.
It was 1,000. It was 1,000 bucks a month. Okay. So what's the next question for Moses?
I was gonna say how did it start off like when Steph came on, how did the splitting of duties and things?
Yes.
How
So-
was the day in the life?
How's it going?
Who decides who gets to do what?
So this is really tough. But this is probably the juicy part.
Tread very
This is the juicy
carefully.
part of what you guys want to know. But it's the hardest part of transitioning that way is that I'm responsible for everything initially. And now I have to offset tasks to Steph. And we are two different people. We have two different perspectives. And so to give her things and still kind of have to oversee them and be like, well, I think it should be this way. And she thinks it should be that way. That's going to cause tension in any work environment.
That's the problem
Hence.
right there.
You guys have lanes
Yeah.
that are overlapping.
Yeah.
And then it gets elevated by the husband-wife dynamic.
Hence why our desks are facing opposite way.
Yeah.
She's like, I don't want to see your face.
Hold on. How
In the
do you
office.
guys have desks? You guys have adjoining desks? Like,
We work
No.
on the couch.
We have an office that we don't use. But I work. Do you see how I'm sitting here? This is how I work at home with my laptop in front of me.
So you guys are so crazy.
And I'll lay on the
Doesn't
couch
that,
like this.
back hurt?
and-
Yeah,
and
my
laptop
posture is
like
probably
this.
Yeah,
messed
that's
up.
horrible.
Yeah. So
Oh.
one of the things that we want to do is eventually make room for myself in the office. But Jen has to move her Peloton out of there.
That's another conversation.
Karis and I we've had every configuration. We started facing each other first. We had like our monitors back to back.
Then you were like, I don't want to see your face.
Actually, you're not wrong. So then we started working side by side, and then that was our arrangement for a long time. And then when we moved to our house right now, actually I sat behind her, so we were both facing the same direction. So that way I can see her
So
screen.
he's like,
Oh my
he's like a
God.
manager in the office, right? All the way in the back, and I'm in front
Like a
of him,
manager.
and then G's in front of us. Like we
Actually,
see
no, I don't
office.
care. I don't care what's on Karis' screen,
So-
but I
so-
need to be able to see the.
Oh
So
my
Ben's sitting
God.
right behind Karis, and he's like, why are you still on Facebook?
Why? Are you shopping right now?
So no one's watching Ben on Facebook and all
No,
his commenting.
no.
But anyway, now we face each other again. So, yeah.
So
But still, no one sees your screen. because
Yeah.
you're on the wall.
You can hear what I'm watching. You know, you guys.
I
can hear.
know.
All right.
This
Anyway,
is
back to you guys. Back to the cruises. Right. So which lanes do you guys currently occupy?
So I kind of am responsible for being the lead shooter on the wedding day, the editing and the image selection, the culling.
So what's left over for Steph?
Second shooter, client experience.
Well, hold on. I gotta take Ben's line here and say co-shooter.
That is
Co-shooter.
Yes.
Co-shooter.
Yes.
Co-shooter,
Co-shooter. co-owner,
correction,
Takes more
and
money.
client experience and social media.
Yeah, she's taking
Yeah.
over everything for social media, and she does everything for client experience.
What does that client experience entail?
How we
Hey, I was
deliver.
asking her.
Oh, sorry.
Good answer.
I'm gonna get in my lane here.
Answer.
stay in your lane.
Stay in your lane, fool.
Go in.
I'm just gonna tell you what I tell her to do. I'm just kidding.
Go into my lane.
The spotlight's on you, Steph. Spotlight's on you. What do you do?
What's your job description?
Let's see. So I review galleries. Very picky about that. Sorry, babe. I drive them crazy. The albums, I pack them. I make sure that, we have thank you cards, everything in there for our clients. There's a whole bunch more.
Yes.
Yeah, what do you do?
Just, I
Social
can't.
media. You said social media.
Yes, that's,
So she's
yeah.
basically in charge of everything that's client facing. So she chooses the images that go out on social media. She sometimes I get involved with suggesting or setting up posts, but everything goes through her. She finalizes
Like even the
everything.
graphics, everything. Like,
So the branding. You're doing
Branding.
the branding.
Yeah.
She does all of our branding pretty
Like,
much, but
I-
also client experience in
yeah.
terms of she does every selection for what we decide to offer to our clients for albums,
Yeah.
how our galleries look, how our website looks. That's
Who
all
does the
stuff.
All the pretty
blogging?
stuff.
Who does the blogging?
I set up the blogs. She approves everything.
So you're
Yeah.
still okay.
She likes to look over the aesthetics and make sure it looks good.
yes.
So she's bringing the fashion artistry
Artsy
eye
part of her.
into it and making sure makes the thing nice.
Do you think that each of you can let go of some of those tasks to just do them alone?
Yeah, I mean, part of it is that it's been a slow transition for, her taking over certain things. It's been an overwhelming time for everybody in this business over the last couple of years. So for us specifically, I think we feel like it's been hard to kind of just fully transition things over.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to say this. I hope I don't get in trouble for it.
I'm listening.
Proceed with caution.
Steph has a lot of self-doubt, right? That's one of the things that she struggles with. So she's sometimes a little bit slow to pull the trigger on things that I often feel like, hey, we need to get this out and get it going.
Hence
So-
7 years in that job.
Yeah. So
And it took you 4 years to leave.
Pretty much. Yeah.
So because of that, I involve myself more to push things forward, if that makes sense.
Yeah, done is better than perfect, Steph.
Mhm.
Done is better than perfect. Sometimes the stuff just has to get done.
That's a good line.
I didn't come up with it.
I was going to say, did you read that in a book somewhere?
Yeah, Google University.
I want that T-shirt.
Because I'm guilty of that. I have
Yeah.
similar qualities to Steph,
Yeah.
but
Yes.
I've learned to
They do.
let go a little bit.
Mm-hmm. And back to what Ro was saying, like when Karis and I we were running our business, like there was some overlap in the beginning, and that caused a little bit of friction. So we just figured out which lanes that we're because I don't need to proofread her shit, and she doesn't have to like approve of anything that I do. It's like, all right, this is your department, you take care of it. And the only thing that's actually kept the peace, we decided early on that even though that this is a partnership, where my fuck ups affect her and vice versa, right? Like regardless, any decisions that we make while occupying our own lane has to stick,
Yeah.
even if we disagree with that decision.
What are the consequences if you cross lanes?
Somebody's sleeping on the couch.
Karis is yelling.
Yeah. No, we're very diligent about staying in our own lanes.
Even there is like a financial like damage, like we have to like eat it.
We eat it together.
because one of us like gave it to the client or said the wrong words, or
Like
offered
magnets?
it. Yeah, like magnets.
I wasn't gonna say it, but immediately I was like, I know this story.
It's like
Remember the time?
All right, so a little bit of context, right? So like I do all the sales for two of the brands, right? One of the third brand.
The
Karis does
important thing about Ben doesn't really know how much things cost.
Yes,
Oh.
like signing is $2,000.
Till today, like I'm pretty bad too, but Ben like has no.
I have a rough idea, right?
He doesn't.
So one time, anyway, let me rewind a little bit, right? So when I'm doing these sales, sometimes, if I really, really want the wedding, and I don't know, you guys tell me if you guys do this too, right? Sometimes you guys really, really want the wedding. Sometimes you'll sweeten the deal a little bit. Maybe you'll give them a little extra time. Maybe you'll give them a print.
course.
Maybe you'll give them, I don't know, something, right?
Yeah.
Something that you don't think is going to be, significantly expensive. So there's one time I offered the clients, hey, listen, I'll give you guys,
Say the dates.
yeah, I'll give you guys save the dates, right? But the only catch is, if I give this to you for free, only thing is I need to be able to put my logo on the other side, right? I'll give it to you for free if you can do that, right? So then, yeah, okay, we're on board. So then it comes time for them to pick their save the dates, and they pick fucking magnets, right?
Yeah, but did you like? I mean, you could have said, "Oh, this excludes magnets" or whatever. No.
Anyway, it was too late. Anyway, like, and they booked our top package. It was like a 5-figure wedding, So I was like, okay, whatever. And then you know what happened? They ordered the magnets, and then COVID happened, and those magnets are useless.
How much were the magnets?
$500. It was too expensive. I was willing to give them. I was willing to give it away for like $100, like $100
Yeah,
gift.
he thought it was $100.
They're like, but we have 800 guests.
$100.
I mean, it was a 10-figure wedding, so I mean,
Yeah,
5-figure
you
wedding.
know what it is? It's one of those things where like you pay for the lesson.
Yeah.
That's my tuition.
Yeah.
That's why I look at it.
Costs money to go to school.
That's pretty much what it is, right? So have you guys ever had anything like that where like someone made a decision in their own lane and so the
So-
other person had to eat
You
it?
don't agree?
So that's the nice thing about having run this business while I was learning kind of by myself. All those things happened before Steph joined. Since she joined, we've been batting
But I
1,000.
sat and listened
She
to it.
did. Oh man, so many things. I mean, I remember one time I was so overwhelmed with work that she came with me to a wedding, and she was at that time she was starting to look into scheduling for the couples, creating timelines, and so she comes up to me at a certain time and she's like, "Why are we still here?" And I'm like, "What do you mean? We finished in like another 45 minutes." She's like, "They had this number of hours and we're past that." And that's not how I built the schedule. I gave them a free hour. And she hates that.
She's ready to go home.
I mean, it's
Well, the schedule should reflect that hour,
Yeah. You didn't
right.
tell
I
her.
built it wrong.
though. Okay.
I built it wrong.
Yeah.
So who's in charge of the schedule now?
She is.
Yeah.
Well, obviously.
She's like, I'm
Yep.
not staying here for free.
Yep.
Like, you can stay for
Baby.
free.
Ain't happening.
Going back to image selection, how does that process go for you guys? Because that's always a contentious point for me and my husband as well.
For those of you guys who are
It's
just
gotten
listening,
better.
for those of you guys who are just listening, you guys not watching the video,
Listen.
Stephanie she just started twitching uncontrollably.
And this is like image selection for social media, portfolio, all that
Because
fun
I feel
stuff.
like sometimes you just don't put the effort
Both of them.
I'm sorry.
to choose a better image. You just open their gallery, the first image you see, you download, and then you post that.
This is the issue. I think both JR and MC.
You're watering down their brand.
That's what he says. That's
You're
what he
watering
always
down their
says.
brand.
She's been doing that for a decade.
Wait, so what's the question again?
How
wasn't my question.
How did you guys deal with that now, image selection?
I mean, she really has final say. You know, we do argue about things sometimes where I think it should be a certain way or a certain image should be included, and she thinks something is either. So here's where we differ, because I think this is what you want to hear, right? The conflict, right? This is the fun part.
Like, did you just step back and we're like,
Okay, this is your department. This is your lane. This is your department.
Yeah, I mean, it's really like a review process for her. So I kind of like set up certain things. Like I'll pick the images that get exported to our highlights, to our blog, and then she'll review it, and then she'll come back and be like, "Do you have something that's more like this or more like that?"
Or it's
And we
like
can-
too redundant. We gotta take one out and then put
So basically,
something
let's say a
else.
gallery out of 1,000. You'll go like, all right, here's 100. Here's Steph. Go through this 100. You're already pre-screened.
Somewhat, but she does actually review every image in the gallery for final delivery. So she knows what's in the galleries, and she'll come back and say, "Well, I saw this other image. It's better for this context or whatever." So
Or once in a while, I remember we took this picture. Where's this picture?
What I was gonna say was the different perspectives that we have is that she, I think, is a little bit disconnected from the technical side of it in terms of like image selection and focus and lighting and things like that, which I think is good because I think most clients are, and so she sees it from more of a perspective that a client would appreciate. Versus, there's plenty of times that I can look back and be like, "Man, I love this image because of the light," and she'll be like, "But they look so regular in that one. They look better in this one." You know what I mean? So that's where I think having her perspective has been extremely beneficial for us. But because of that, we kind of decided, and when I say we, I mean she gets final review on a lot of this.
But is she watering down your brand?
No, so I gotta be honest, she's enhanced it quite a
Awesome.
bit.
Good answer.
And she's enhanced
Good
it quite a bit.
You could tell me afterwards.
Is there another podcast just for us? She's the truth is she's absolutely enhanced it. And like, you know, part of my, I guess, flaw in thinking more of the technical side is that I also think a lot about efficiency. And so sometimes I do things a little bit quickly, and she'll be the one that's more detailed than me, like they blinked here, or the smile is awkward, or things like that. Or like she said before, where's this image that I know that we took? You know, I'll miss that stuff. She'll kind of catch it on the second round.
Are you guys tag teaming the consults?
Yeah, always.
You are? Okay. That's good.
Yeah, once I brought her in, or once she, let me put it this, once she agreed to join, I didn't recruit her. She finally agreed to join.
When I hired her.
We wanted the brand to be both of us. Yeah, the interview process was like, "Hey, I'm your CEO now." But once she joined, I'm the captain.
I am the captain now.
Once she joined, we kind of both agreed, and we saw the value of kind of making the brand about both of us. So making the brand about both of us meant that we wanted to be present in both, like every part of the the process with our couples.
And something about it, like as a husband and wife, like I see the connection different. Like I remember when you were on your own versus now us. Like I see the difference.
Yeah, when they see us together, it's a different perception of us.
There's also a higher closing rate, I feel like.
That's
It's
part
an
of it.
advantage.
Yeah.
I think also too that just having both people there to have a perception of the client, right? You know, sometimes I'm more passive and I'm like, we could do this, we could do that, or other times I'm a little bit too, I don't want to say strict, but like maybe I'm not as encouraged to take a certain wedding, and she'll be like, think about these possibilities or those. But just kind of both of us getting a chance to meet with the client, I think, has given us both perspective as to whether it's a good opportunity for us.
All right. So actually, this is a question for the panel. What are the pros of working with your spouse?
I think
Gives you a chance to be nice, Ben.
Always nice. What are the positives? Well, I get to see my wife.
Aw.
True, yeah.
Yeah, I get to see my wife.
for once at work. No.
I don't see it throughout the week.
but literally, like, I'm getting to the point where even our boys are like, "Where's Papa?" We're like, we never see him. I'm like, he's in the basement.
Hey, you can go talk to him downstairs.
I'm like, he's here. He's in the basement.
Do you know why? Do you know why I work in the basement, especially now?
Why?
No, because it's the coolest room in the whole entire house. because my in-laws,
AC war.
we have AC wars in the house.
Okay, you meant temperature, not like cool. Like it's the awesomest.
No,
room.
no. No. It's like it's temperature wise, it's the most comfortable room. Like me and the dog, we're down there. Like that's the most comfortable for us. And then, everything I need for work is down there. My computer's down there. I just don't edit down there, but I can email down there.
You barely edit, so he's
You
like
do your
always
videos
amazing.
under your lives, your
I'm doing
content.
my
Yep,
lives.
everything.
I'm doing my writing.
The
Writing
positives
down
is
there.
just don't ever see your spouse.
Don't see each other.
No,
So what are the positives, man?
What are the positives of working together? We don't.
No.
I still haven't heard the positives.
He's really digging right now, man. Do you want us to come back to you?
Having a partner that can do what I do. So here's the thing, right? Because based on what I'm hearing from you guys, right? Like you guys have your lanes, you guys stay in it. Like there's a specialty that you guys have in your roles in your business, right? The cool thing about how Karis and I have been running our business for the past 13 plus years is that, in fact, I can do what she does, she can do what I do, right? So really, like we're clones to some degree, right? So if she needs to run a sales call, she can run a sales call. If she needs to, or if I need to, well, I don't trust myself to Photoshop anything like that, right? But like if I need to edit, or
We
she
know
needs to
now who the Photoshop expert is.
like photoshopping, contracting, invoicing, all that's like all the roles that we have to run the business, like I can do it or she can do it, right? So this really came into play when during COVID, like COVID put me in the hospital and I had surgeries and all that kind of stuff. Like Karis was able to keep the business going without me actually having to be there. You know what I mean? So like that was probably one of my biggest fears, running this business. Like if one of us, something tragic
You
would happen
can't
to one of us.
replace. You can't replace the other person.
Exactly. But like I'm totally replaceable.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that. You done fucked up now.
That's why he called it Ben Lau. Ben Lau Photography. He's like, if there's anything here that's mine, it's the name.
So anyway, like, yeah. So if something happens to her, we can still keep the business running. Something happens to me, that we can still run the business.
That was always Ben's thing. He's like, if I like die, like you need to be able to take over everything and should rest of like the wedding, or like reimburse them, take care of it. That's he always talks about it. And I'm like,
Shit happens.
he's like, once you get the insurance money, like you need
Once everybody asks you for their images, like, we'll have your images. I'm still mourning.
No, but that's always been a big deal for me. Like contingency planning. Something happens to either one of us. Like this business.
Yeah,
still
I think
needs
a
to
lot
run.
of people don't bring them like self to create a plan for that.
Right. So I think that's one of the big positives. In how we run our business is that I have a true partner that can do everything that I can do.
All right. So the pro is that Karis can replace you.
That is correct.
Ben is replaceable.
I'm 100%
And Karis will make a
replaceable.
lot of money.
How about you guys?
Moses and Steph.
Oh man, so pros. Do you want to go first?
You go first.
I will say one of the pros, I think, so coming from the business model where I worked alone, nothing against you, Ro. Here we go. You ready? So there's just a different level of commitment from a second shooter who's there for you, hired for the day, versus someone that's running the business with you day in and day out. There's also a certain level of consistency. And then there's a level of accountability that person will hold you to. So like, for example, not that this ever happened, but hypothetically, if we had the opportunity to do a shot and I was working with Ro and I was like, you know what? I'm just not feeling it. I'm not going to push myself. He would probably be like, all right, this is your gig, your company, do what you do. Not Steph. She'd be like, no, you're doing this. You're trying. We're going to make this work. Like
There has to be a
there's
way.
a different level that someone who's in the business with you pushes you. So I think that's definitely been one of the huge benefits. But I think one of the other benefits that I personally enjoy is she's always been, like I said, a really big supporter of what I did, even before she was involved in the business. But it's different to kind of share the reward. Like it's our thing now, right? So, and I have a contrast to compare that when she'd be like, yeah, good job. You did good. That's awesome for you. Where now it's like, this is our shared reward,
We both won.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And when we win and when we lose.
Oh,
Oh,
especially
it's twice as
no, not when we
hurtful.
lose. When we lose, it's my fault. When we lose, that way, you did this.
Not all the time.
Steph rolled her
I
eyes.
just started working for you. I don't know what happened here.
Steph rolled her eyes so hard they're like slot machines.
What was the pro for you, Steph, coming on from a different entire thing and then joining Mo?
Can we come back to me?
No, we can
Just
take
so
our time,
I
we can
want
take our
everyone
time.
to know, this is Steph on a regular basis. Going out to eat, we go to a restaurant, we gotta go back to Steph to place her order.
The waiter's like, what do you want?
My shift's over.
For me, I love the flexibility that we have the same schedule, so that we're not in the instance where like you have to wait to spend the weekends with your spouse or have to wait for them to get home from work to do something together. We're together all the time. But I love it. So it's good. So everyone
better
just
say
like
that.
pick up in the middle. If I can pick up in the middle of the day and go out wherever, we go together and we make a day of it. So the flexibility has always been the freedom of time and things to do has been
Yeah,
the
before-
biggest thing for me.
When I was working, it was tougher
Yeah.
to schedule stuff because when she wanted to go out, I was waking up from my overnight shift,
Yep.
Mhm.
which was a pain in the ass, but we made it work.
So yeah, getting the quality of time is my pro.
That is pretty nice working together.
Yeah.
Like,
You-
schedules there.
same vacations, you don't have
we
to-
could block out vacation
Mhm.
days.
Mhm.
Yep.
Not have to worry
Flexible.
about.
Yeah, I
But we
would
got
have
to
to
see each other
agree.
like 24/7. You know what I mean?
Well, now we don't.
Wait, I think Steph was gonna say something.
Yeah.
I have to agree with Jen. Yeah, not to
It's a bonus.
to feed off of you, but you definitely have to agree with her because I remember working at the other job and then Mo was working and doing photography. There was even
no, when
a
I was
week.
doing both, we never had vacations.
Not even
that
that.
was impossible.
There was even like a week or two a month probably. I wouldn't see you.
Yeah, literally.
I would not
like,
see him.
I'd just be editing, and she would get home, go to the gym.
Uh-huh.
But by the time she came back, maybe I had dinner, and then I was back to editing. or
And I was
client
right
calls.
into bed.
Yep.
So
because-
that time we had like no time together. But then there was when I went full time, and I was able to kind of manage my schedule. However, so I would mostly adapt it to her,
Mhm.
but that was still somewhat of a challenge sometimes. You know, especially as a teacher, she would sometimes work summer school, so it's like that limits it even more.
Yeah, there was even a year. It was like a blur.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
now it's kind of just like we actually did this. So this was something that for us was a bit of a benefit, you know, or a byproduct of having such a heavy schedule during 2021 and 2022. We blocked off 4 months
Yep.
of no shooting
You need
to go spend time with our
Yeah.
family. That would have been impossible if either of us had a day job.
There's no way. You would have came back and had no job.
Yeah.
One of you.
Or no wife.
Yeah.
Like seriously. Yeah. But I think a lot of husband and wife. Well, okay, let's go back. A lot of couples, if you're not a husband wife team, sometimes the marriage doesn't work out because like on weekends, one of you like out working and one's like home and
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
It's a struggle.
I've seen. Yep, I've seen.
If
a
it's
lot of
opposite schedules,
Yep.
like
I gotta
schedules,
say, it
they
was
never see each
tough.
other. Yeah, like
Which is an advantage to us because we have the green light to hustle more. We can take more weddings because we'll be together, you know, opposed to like what you just said. If you have different schedules, you're not going to want to shoot as many
Right,
weddings
because you need to-
you're
time to
that
see
time
each
apart
other.
from your family. At least we're together in that aspect,
Yeah.
which is convenient.
yeah.
It's also good that we all kind of found each other, husband and wife teams. So we all connect in that way.
Yeah.
And
This is
we
the
can go on
coffee room.
vacation together.
This is
We
the-
can
this
go
is
to
the
Disney
break room.
World together without Ben Lau. Ben Lau doesn't do Disney World.
You guys are like my Hispanic brothers and sisters. You know?
From Mexico.
I got the chairs and everything, guys.
it's like, "Dime la raza."
Who the hell was it that you told Filipino recently?
Ooh, what?
Was it Grace
We were
and
hanging
Hector?
out. No, we were hanging out with somebody.
Somebody thought you were Filipino?
You told
Everybody
us
thinks he's
Filipino.
Filipino.
I'm trying to think who it was.
What's name?
I don't remember.
I'm sure I don't.
Rylan?
No, it wasn't Rylan.
I don't
Emily?
deny it. I'm sure I do. It sounds totally on brand
No,
for
they
me.
actually thought it was Filipino. They told me. And I was like, he's actually joking. I'm not Filipino.
I mean,
It might have been in Vegas. Somewhere like we're hanging out in Vegas.
Maybe.
Oh my.
when
God.
we met, though, I gotta admit, I'm just playing.
I thought you were Filipino. All right. So what else? What else we got? For that?
Last question, and we'll start with Moses and Steph because they're our guests. What advice would you guys give husband and wife teams when they're getting into this?
Don't do what we did. No, I'm just playing. I'll let you go first for this one.
Ooh, compromising.
100%.
Compromise.
You can't.
Like-
You can't always win everything.
Yep.
even if you were in the
Yep.
business first.
Says who?
Elaborate stuff.
Oy.
Dig deeper.
That's a trigger word. That's a trigger word. You go first.
With compromise, I mean, I would agree with her on that. That's the first thing. Like, if you're choosing to do something together with somebody, it's impossible for you to only do it your way. Understand that it's affecting them as much as you, and that you have to make it work for the both of you. And that the minute that you become so selfish that it has to be your way, you're no longer working as a team. If it's going to be a team effort, you're going to require team commitment, then you have to have team level compromise on both sides,
Yep. I agree.
which means Steph wins everything. That's how I compromise. I let her have whatever she wants.
Wife is always
Yeah, okay. Yeah,
wife
okay.
is always right.
That goes back to stay in your lane, but sometimes you have a passenger in your lane.
And sometimes they're sleeping in the car the whole way.
What are you trying to say?
Meaning we're not going opposite lanes. We're not going away from each other. So sometimes I need to hitchhike and I hop in your lane.
And Jen's like, get out of my lane.
And then sometimes, there's a trailer in the back and pulling that trailer along, and there's
There's
Yeah.
a lot of metaphors here.
There's a lot of true crime episodes that start like that.
What advice would you guys give? Ben's like, just hide in your basement.
Make sure you have a basement.
Ben's going to give the opposite of us. Instead of compromise, start a separate brand.
That's actually not a bad idea. No, but I've been preaching this since day one. Like, find your lane, stay in it, respect your partner with their decisions. Just because you respect them doesn't mean you have to agree with them, right? I disagree with a lot of the stuff that she does, right? But I have to respect it because those were her decisions, right? So having respect for your partner and their decisions, I think that's really important.
I agree with that.
Even if you disagree with them, you have to
Yeah.
respect it. Yeah.
Even if they're watering down your brand, you just have to let it be.
You have to have a
Appreciate the process.
you have to have a what do you call it? A unified face, right?
Mhm.
That's what I'm looking for. So you have to show a unified
Front.
face to your clients, even if you guys are disagreeing in the back. It has to be
Yes.
unified in the front. Okay.
It's like
I
politicians.
agree with that.
Mhm.
That's
Yeah.
a big, just
Especially on the
leadership
day
principle.
of.
Mhm.
Definitely.
Oh, you're
Oh,
you're
man.
probably bickering and whatnot, and then somebody comes like, "Hello."
That's a skill that both of us have gotten so good at. Like, you see our backs and you know our whole demeanor is like, yo, they're about to pop off right now.
And
And then they call us, oh, excuse me, I'm sorry. Hey, how can we help?
That's the best time to ask for the 7200. In front of the bride of the groom.
We can take that shot. Steph, can you get me to 7200?
meanwhile, I'm smiling and deep down, like, oh.
Yep, baby.
Here's a word of experience is that you never pay for those things in front of the client, but you always pay for them on the ride home. Always.
On the
Or
right
not
there,
even
on
the right home.
Yep.
As soon as the
Yep.
couple leaves.
Yep.
The couple leaves.
Nah, Steph is like the typical Hispanic parent. Like you guys. I mean, you guys may understand this too, but like they yell at you in front of somebody through their teeth, and then they make you suffer through the pain of you wait till we get home.
Yes.
The chocolate's
You
coming
just
out.
wait till
With a big old smile. What
Oh, yeah.
what advice?
Damn, Steph's
what
like,
advice
put
would you
you on
give?
the spot. My advice is to acknowledge and respect your partner's quirks. We all know. Well, I know. And most of you know my husband has some quirks, and you just have to
Man.
let him do his thing. And if it's not as important, if it's not life and death for me, then I'll just let him do whatever he needs to do to make himself feel better, and let him go about his day.
Can I say mine? I think a key thing is not to compare your roles with your partners. what I mean by
Rolls
that,
as in like chochis?
Ro's been waiting for an opportunity to share this.
basically like, don't think that you're doing more work, even if they are, or if that person's doing less work. Don't compare the amount of work you're doing to what they're doing. Let the work. You know what I'm saying? So, like, for example, like,
Tell us more, bro.
yeah.
Tell us more.
Elaborate.
Dig deeper.
If I'm hanging out, right? If I'm outside doing something, and she's doing her task, and she looks at me outside, and I'm not doing my task, doesn't mean my tasks are not gonna get done. You know what I mean? So,
I don't know what you're meaning.
I'm gonna say this again.
Can you elaborate?
Dig deeper.
Say more.
Steph would like you to dig deeper.
Dig deeper.
is don't belittle my task. Like, I do just enough.
So
His contribution.
My contribution is
this is no longer advice for other couples. This is a message directly to Jen.
This is marriage therapy now.
His couples therapy.
What my husband is trying to get at, and this is what I meant as his quirks, he only likes to work at night. Like, that's when he'll edit. I work all day, he works at night, but he spends the entirety of the day working on the house, which is very much appreciated. Thank you so much. But then sometimes I'll say, can you edit, like, work in the daytime like a normal person, just in case, let's say, if we want to go out that night or we want to watch TV, we can't because he decides to work. So that's what I meant by, like, respecting his quirks. I've come to let it go and just let him do him. That's why I said whatever makes him feel better at the end of the day.
She wants
That's it.
more quality time with you at nighttime.
But also,
And then he'll be
don't
like, oh,
feel
what
like you're
he'll-
doing more work than me.
The truth comes out.
This is
You
so.
know what we're gonna start doing? We're gonna
The
start,
truth comes out.
We're gonna
This is
start
so
clocking
personal.
In. We're gonna start clocking in and clocking out to see who works more hours.
Careful, bro. Careful. Bro, you only work an hour and 15 minutes today.
It's on.
No, but yeah, just
You shouldn't be penalized for being efficient at your work.
the advice goes back. The advice goes back to what you said. You know, respecting each other's roles, and like you said, also if I make a decision, you have to just rock with it. If you make a decision,
I said so,
I
right?
rock with it. Like I'm gonna order 2 ZH as soon as we finish this podcast.
Right.
This is where you clip to the scene of roll like this.
Where am I?
What happened to Rolando after the podcast?
Yep. There's certain things where you both have to make a decision, and other things where you just have to be fine with the decision that your partner makes.
Yeah, I think that's a principle for efficiency too, because like if you wait until you're both on board for everything, there's so many things that are not going to get done. And like Ben was kind of mentioning before, he what was the phrase that you said?
Done is better than perfect.
Done, you know, yeah, that's it right
Chochis.
there.
One for time. Unfocused.
All right. So this segment is brought to you by the Focus AF Summit.
There you go. Now you're sponsoring your summit. Ben's the worst promoter of his own summit.
All right. So what's today's hot topic?
Go ahead, Ro.
There was a post. I forgot where. Or
Oh,
actually,
I
I don't
know.
want to say where. Right?
I know. I don't mind saying
Okay,
it.
go ahead.
Because no
No.
one will find out. I
No,
don't care.
just say it in a Facebook group.
I will say it.
No.
Hey,
The
respect
Facebook
her
group.
decision.
I have access to my sister's Facebook, posting about how she's reaching out to makeup artists and could not believe the quotes that she was getting and all the extra fees that they were giving. One being a $50 morning fee.
$50 per artist or just in general?
I think for the artists.
Just
Okay.
to
Basically,
come in the
they're
morning?
charging a fee just to show up at 8 o'clock in the morning.
Not like afternoon.
No. Like, hey, you want me in the morning? You're going to
Yeah.
pay an extra fee. And you're going to pay an extra $100 for travel. And this bride said,
Travel seem makes sense.
well, let me finish. The bride said
Gonna
she
save
uses
town.
makeup artists before and she knows exactly where her studio is and it's 15 minutes away. And they were charging her an extra $100.
Some of them charge an on-site fee. If you don't get ready in the studio, they charge
Yeah,
you like the
Mhm.
travel on-site fee.
Yep.
She said it was right at home. She was going to go to her house, charge $100, and then a morning fee.
The morning fee, I don't agree with. The travel fee, if you're not like, we have a studio, just come in our studio and do it. But like, if you want us to come on site, bring all our shit over there, like I can see $50,
Yeah.
$100, whatever.
Yeah.
So, that's not unreasonable.
Let's
But,
talk about the morning fee.
yeah, the morning fee is a little unreasonable, I feel like.
But even travel, if you are
More than an
within,
hour?
yeah,
Hour and a
not
half?
like less than like 30 minutes.
In
if
the
you're
same
in
town.
local, yeah.
Yeah.
Then
Yeah.
why is there a travel fee?
She was just like, it was, I guess, the makeup artist assistant who answers the emails. So it might have been like, she just
Wires
she
got
didn't really
crossed.
look it up to see how far it was. She's like, I know exactly where this makeup artist.
Yeah,
The assistant assume that the person does not know where that
Where
artist
they
is traveling from.
are.
And
It's
this person's
sleazy,
like,
though.
I've used her
Yeah.
5-6 years ago. We know where she lives. We know where her studio is at. And she's still trying to charge me this travel fee.
And
Whatever.
$50 for a morning fee
Morning.
seems kind of petty.
And she was like,
that pays
but
for
not.
her waffle and
Yeah.
eggs or whatever.
She was like, it's not even that early. She's like, I just want her there like 8 or 9 a.m. That's like,
It's not even like
that's
4
normal working
a.m.
hours.
That's what I feel like too. That's not really early
Wow,
morning too.
yeah.
I was like, if you say like, hey, listen, hair and makeup person, I need you there at 2:00 in the
Yeah,
morning,
yeah,
then
yeah,
I was like,
yeah,
okay.
yes.
Well, even then, like you're off for the rest of the afternoon if that's the
Right.
case. You know, like we do daytime weddings. We don't charge extra for daytime
No.
weddings.
we
and,
don't
and what they're
extra.
charging, I'm not going to criticize their price. Their prices are their prices, but they're not charging peanuts either to do a
No.
bride.
Mm-mm.
And now they're just tacking on these extra fees to probably bring up their average, which is I feel like it's kind of sleazy to do that.
Mhm.
But for some reason, it's always just in the makeup artist world that are.
I've come across a lot of photographers and videographers too. They charge funny prices too, like for silly things, like $50 for a consultation or something like that.
Oh, well, I've heard people doing that where it's like,
you know,
You get it back as a credit.
you
if
get it back
book
as a
or
credit if you
something.
book, and if not, you're out $50.
I had a contractor try to do that to me
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You were telling us
to
about
come and give me an estimate.
But it was expensive, like $300.
It was
right?
$350.
Yeah.
Yeah.
but if you book, it's
It goes
350
toward,
credit.
but what if I don't? Like I'm like,
yeah.
whatever. I
Like
obviously I didn't hire this
like,
person.
well, my time is valuable. I should be paid for my time, and I think that's the wrong mentality
That's
approach.
like part of your job to get a
Mhm.
job.
We had a
Like,
conversation about that one
Yeah.
time, and I think I had said something like, our screening process is also how we protect ourselves.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? And so, yeah, I'm going to invest the time to make sure that we're a good fit.
mhm.
And if it doesn't work out because I learned that it doesn't work out, I'm okay with
Mhm.
walking away from that.
Right, right.
But I'm not going to charge somebody for that. And then they attach an expectation to that. Well, now you have to book me because I gave you $50 for a consultation.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
so that they probably throw it in your face.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
If things go sour, they'll talk about that. I
Yeah,
feel like
yeah,
that's
yeah.
what a thing that could sour the relationship pretty quickly.
Mhm. So,
Yeah.
so what's the verdict? You guys think that that's pretty? I think it's unanimous. It's pretty ridiculous.
The
right?
morning fee, yeah. And if you're a makeup artist, feel free to hit us up. Let us know why that's a thing.
I was going to say,
Yes.
like, I always like to argue both sides of these things. And it's
Right.
like, one of the
Explain.
beauties of our
Mhm.
business, our industry, is that for the most part, there's nothing regulating how we run our business.
Yeah, we do.
We
whatever
get
want.
to do what we want. It's usually based off of some kind of experience that we had, whether it's positive or negative. We say, well, I got to change this in my business. So how did this come about? What
Yeah.
are they avoiding, or what are they trying to charge for? I would want to understand that
Yeah.
before deciding it. But off of what we know, it does seem unreasonable.
Yeah. It's a little
Yeah.
weird.
Like, yeah,
You're still
dates-
going to work the same amount of time per se. Like, it's not like
Well,
just because you start earlier.
Well, I mean, daytime weddings are a pain in the butt for me. You know, like I
Yeah.
don't want to wake up that early in the morning.
Yeah.
No, but I feel like too, like
Right?
if they do, let's say they do, they have to 4 a.m. call time, right? And they're done by 7, 8. Realistically, they could take a second wedding. So you
Second,
could,
third
you have
wedding.
you have the potential to make more money. So why are you charging the first bride additional for starting earlier in the day?
You know what? I have a hair and makeup person who listens religiously
Yeah.
to this
Maybe,
podcast.
maybe
She'll,
it's a,
she'll
Oh,
give
is
us-
that pink comb?
standard,
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Love to
Michelle.
pink
Oh, I just
comb
gave her
if
a
you're
shout out. I just
listening.
gave her some free-
Michelle.
Pink comb beauty.
Actually, I think she wants to come on the podcast and chat with us. So
Yeah.
maybe
Yeah.
that would be a good opportunity.
question.
after.
We also had during the pandemic, one of our clients reached out to us, or I think during an engagement session, she was telling us our experience with her looking for makeup, and she said that one wanted an Uber back and forth
Mm.
to from her house to the hotel and back, and it was like $250.
For the
Yeah,
Uber?
so she was like, "Is that normal?" I said, "I mean,
Usually they drive themselves.
I've
right?
never heard of that.
Who is this? Who's this?
I'm not. It was.
Makeup?
I'm not sure if it was the makeup artist or the hairdresser.
Oh.
One of those were actually
Yeah.
telling
Well,
me
that's a long drive.
that they would use
250,
Uber.
250 for an Uber fare is
Yeah.
really far.
For a round
the
trip.
person doesn't
Yeah.
drive, I guess.
I don't know. So like, I guess not.
That's
That's
very
a-
far.
yeah,
Right, because
that's
like one time I had to go from Plainfield all the way to upstate. It was like $100 some. So
Yeah,
for,
it's like going
that's a
across-
long ass
it's
ride.
like going
Right.
across
So she
state.
was like, well, "Why do I have to
the cover travel.
pay
You would cover
Yeah.
travel.
for
I think
you
it
for
would be
you to
reasonable
get
cover travel.
back and forth to work?
You
Most
should
companies
build
won't
that
even
into
pay
your
you for that."
pricing, right?
Yeah, I would go
Yeah,
into
yeah,
the pricing because I think
Not
the
like
conversation
separately.
is awkward to say to them like, I don't drive,
Right.
so you have to pay me my Uber,
Uber.
and it winds up being
Right.
$200-300. And just
Yeah.
build it into
I
your
also
price.
feel like, at least from my perspective, anytime that our approach has always been to have more inclusive pricing. What that basically means is like, here's our starting rate. It has all of this already, which is typical. It's standard for weddings. It's going to definitely get you enough. Now, we do have the opportunity to upsell things or offer more to clients, but I don't like we don't like putting ourselves in a position where it's like, oh, well, if you're 20 miles outside, now I have to charge you this.
You're nickel and
Or,
diming
yeah,
them.
you're nickel and diming. You're adding all these little costs. I feel like that creates friction between
Yeah.
your couple. And now their first perspective is going to be like, if everything costs me more, like I'm going to have to figure out exactly. And they break you down a lot more. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
I've never liked that approach.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
so
Should be all built in.
yeah, it should be built into your pricing. And that's why you should do consults. You know,
Mhm.
talk to your clients instead of just sending them questionnaires and stuff because you don't have all the information. It's better
Right.
that you talk to them one on one, see what their needs are, and then build a package from there.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I think I'm gonna start charging a morning fee.
You know what it is? I think they're just charging it because they don't want to do an early morning. They just want regular hours.
Yeah, but $50
But
is
like,
nothing.
yeah, it'd
so
be like $5,000
yeah,
more, you
so,
know?
so I told Jen, what does that cover? Her pork roll, egg and cheese, and coffee for
That's an
everyone.
expensive ass pork roll and
No,
egg and
for
cheese, man.
everyone, for her
$50?
team or whatever.
I
What
guess
is
that's
that?
right.
It just sounds like there's
Truffle in her
something.
coffee.
Yeah. So
It
if
sound-
you're a makeup artist, feel free to hit us
Yeah,
up. Let us know what that
if it's
is.
norm. Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
what's normal, you
Yeah.
know?
Mhm.
Because
I mean,
like, I remember when Karis got married, she got married to me twice, right? So like,
Twice.
the first time she did wedding makeup was expensive as hell. I remember, right? And then, but the second time we were just told, hey, it's not for a wedding. It's just whatever, right?
I said I was a bridesmaid, and the price went like down like tremendously.
Oh.
From like
so
bridal
sometimes
makeup.
sometimes when you put the word wedding in front of
Yeah.
it, things get more expensive.
Expensive, yeah.
But I
the
understand.
wedding tax.
Yeah.
But I understand, you know, hey, listen, I need a wedding photographer versus I need an event photographer. You know, the pricing might be a little different. But like for us and how we run our business, the pricing per hour is the same.
Yeah.
You know, but
But it is nice when clients like reach out to you asking for like I have a Brooklyn wedding coming up. They gave me an email like a few days ago saying, oh, by the way, like we want to take care of your parking. Like, what do you do? Because I couldn't find it in the contract. Like there's parking lots, there's street parking, but we want to make sure we cover it. I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah, that's
like,
sweet.
Don't worry about
Yeah.
like my parking, right? I'll figure it out. But that was like really sweet. They're like, we want to.
Like, yeah, sure. I'll send you the receipt.
I mean, $20-$30. I'm not going to send them
Yeah,
that
right.
invoice.
Yeah, of course. But yeah, that was
They're,
really
they're
sweet.
also probably validating the parking too.
Whatever it is.
Yeah.
I mean, someone's paying for it one way or the other.
I just second shot from Matt Salone this over the weekend.
You giving him free press now? I'm
And
kidding.
I valeted my car with the hotel,
Yeah.
and we went downstairs because the couple said that they validated our parking, and the guy in the front desk said that
you
no,
don't.
right? So I was like, right. So Matt offered to pay for it anyway. So we went around town taking portraits, and the bride was like, no, I validated your parking, so you better go and tell them that I said that I validated it. And I was like, all right, cool. And they did. You know, that was nice of them.
Oh, what
It
a
saved
jerk.
us like $40.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah.
it's nice. Like we were gonna cover it ourselves. Like it's just
Yeah,
one of
yeah,
those
yeah.
things that's like, don't
Little
worry about
things,
it.
yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can do it with $50, you know?
Yeah. It kind of.
I'm so curious what that covers and what's the reason why they
It's
add
an
it.
inconvenience fee for them,
Yeah.
probably.
But,
But
you
like-
know, I was second shooting, so Matt offered to cover it
Yeah.
either way. As a primary, like, is that's your wedding? You're
Right,
never
yeah.
gonna, you know.
No.
For your
Yeah.
second shooter, I get that because I would definitely cover
I'll
it. for
cover my
yeah.
second shooter's parking. Yep.
Yeah, I cover their travel a little bit.
That
too.
reminds me of a story from when I was second shooting. I told you guys this.
It sounds familiar.
I was
A little
working for
closer.
somebody. And I won't say who it was, but
Penlow.
I didn't want to say it. But I guess you knew it was you. So this reminds me of a time when I was second shooting for somebody, and I show up for groom prep, and the parking, they had like a doorman and everything. It was $50 to park there, and I was only there for like 40 minutes. So I paid the $50, and I get to the venue, and I go up to the photographer, the lead photographer, and I'm like, "Yeah, man, it's crazy, but this parking was $50," and they go, that sucks for you, man. Yeah.
All right, Ben, do you have anything for
Yeah,
sales and
so
marketing?
this is a great segue into what I wanted to talk about, right? So about serving your clients 1st, right, before money's being exchanged. I recently had a conversation with someone, and this was actually on my live last night as well, right? Do you guys maintain preferred vendor list?
Yeah.
Now, do you hand those out to everyone who books with you or anyone who meets with you?
Meet with us.
Same.
So even if they don't book with you,
Yeah,
you
'cause
will still give
What
them.
we do after our meeting, we'll send them a like nice to meet with you email that has like our pricing, it has our vendor list, and some other information that they might need. But
Mhm.
actually, it's not the full vendor list. It's just videographers.
Mhm.
It's not our full vendor list. It's just videographers because that's usually the next step. And then
Listen, in all fairness, you did it to him in the
I know.
beginning of the recording. You need water?
Stop eating.
Now you gotta start chewing while she's talking.
and then at some point along the process, they get an email with our preferred vendor list.
How about you guys?
We always send an email out like right after we meet with them. So we'll send a couple of galleries, full galleries that have some kind of relevance to the way they're handling their day, plus the recommended vendors list, price guide, a couple of
And
other
the
things.
engagement.
Yeah, a list of like engagement session locations. And things like
Prior
that.
to your consult with them, do you guys send them a questionnaire as well? Or
No,
you
just
like,
a contact form.
Just a contact form?
Yeah.
So I had a conversation with some other colleagues. Well, just one colleague, really. And then...
You made it think it was the whole panel.
No, it was just one colleague. And I've actually seen this in some Facebook groups as well, right? Like where they would withhold this preferred vendor list prospects, people that haven't booked with them yet, right? And their whole argument is like, well, I have the creme de la creme here, and I don't want to give you all these resources unless you're booking with me. That's part of the value that I bring to the table, right? Like, why should I help you if you're not going to be booking with me? Like, why should I help these other photographers, my competition, with all these resources if you're not going to be booking with me, right? This is why you want to book with me. I'm going to give you all these resources, right? I guess my other question for you guys is, do you guys build a timeline during the consult? Or do you guys send them a timeline after the fact?
Like a quick timeline on the
Yeah.
consult. Just
Rough
Yeah.
draft, but yeah.
So that's so I do that as well, right? But these folks are like, well, I'll build a timeline with you after you book me.
Well, then how do you know how to make a recommendation on like how much time they need
what
you for?
coverage-
Well, that's
Yeah.
that's the value that you get, when you bring them on board.
They probably
They're
go for like an all day like type of option.
Like a la carte.
Oh yeah, if you have one collection that's like
no.
up to all day.
Because they're like, oh, it starts at 10 hours, but then if they need to add hours or something like that, they'll tell them, hey, listen, now it's an extra 2 hours of OT, So I know that it's not a full day coverage kind of thing. So anyway, so I wouldn't say we got into it, but I'm like, why are you structured that way? It doesn't make any sense to me, right? And part of the reason why they did it this way, it was very confusing to me, right? Like, first off, they sent the questionnaire before the consultation, right? And basically all the questions that we would normally ask during the consultation, where you're getting ready, how big's your wedding party? What's your family dynamics look like? All those questions that we normally ask, it's all in the questionnaire. So I'm like, well, what are you asking during the consult? It's like, oh, we're just going over the questionnaire that they answered for us, right? I was like, well,
Redundant. Slightly redundant.
The only way I can see that why they do it that way, and this is a situation
screening.
that we're
They're
screening.
screening.
So
Yeah.
we've had these conversations about like, all right, we don't want to work at certain venues.
right.
But if they're not in a certain room at this event, like we talked about this the other day, like if their wedding's not in this room at this venue, then I don't want it. Then how do you know until you're on the call with them, and
Right.
then you're on the call and it's like,
Oh, I'm already booked.
oh,
just came in.
sorry, you gotta go.
Just saying the people.
So I can see what they want to know as much in advance so they know what they're getting into.
I think
Because if I get a questionnaire that says I have 25 bridesmaids, I'm no longer available. Like, as opposed to having that weird dynamic on the call.
That's what I was.
That's why I
assuming
think
too.
they're
That's
doing
what
it
I was
that way,
assuming.
yeah.
I was like, are you doing this to pre-screen your clients and stuff?
That's what
Like,
I'm
no,
thinking.
I'm doing this so I can serve my clients a little better.
It's pre-screening.
So I was like, I think you're pre-screening them.
Yeah, they just don't want to admit it and sound.
and not only that, I think what they're doing is they're using this questionnaire to find pain points so they can sell them better during the consult too, right? So I was like, okay, that makes a little bit more sense. You're not necessarily pre-screening, but you're doing your research before, so that way you know how to sell them.
But
when
you
they
can
come in.
also do it on the call, on the consult.
That's how I've been doing it for 30
But it might be how
30 years.
that person's how they react to certain things. Because like sometimes you're on a call and they like say something that you're surprised about, or you're like, oh, I don't know if I'll feel comfortable doing that for a wedding. Like I really don't.
Maybe it's a
You're like, damn, I
personality
really don't want to do this wedding now. And now you're in the middle of a call, and you got to hope your face doesn't look too crazy in response to what they're saying. So they might need more preparation before they go into a
I
meeting.
kind of see like they want to
Prepare
more.
themselves.
Yeah,
I think-
I see it.
I think what they're doing is preparing a little bit more,
Yeah.
right? But actually, my example is actually like several people. It's not just one person.
We're
right?
doing that?
Huh?
Several people were doing that? Like
No, yeah, they
pre-screening?
send out questionnaires. Actually, there's a lot of people in our circle of friends. They send out questionnaires before the consult.
Okay.
So, there's various reasons why they do that. I think their argument was like, this is how I serve them better.
Yeah.
So that way I'm more prepared for the consult.
I
Okay.
know of a friend that does that just to make sure that they do a first look, because you don't want to do any weddings without a first look.
Yeah.
So, during a call, if you find out during a call, you kind of pretty much at that point, if they book you, you're
Yep.
just gonna have to take the
You gotta
wedding.
do whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. you
Yeah,
gotta
so
do what they-
I know one person that screens specifically
Really, for
to make
solo
sure
now.
that he will not do a wedding.
And I
with
also
no
know
first
that
love.
some people do make it harder for them to fill out the contact form to get into the consult, because if they take the effort to fill out the questionnaire, there's a higher likelihood that they're going to book as well.
They're
It's
committed.
also a screening method to see how interested they are in booking with you. Because if they're only like kind of lukewarm about you, they're not going to fill out all
Yeah.
that shit to just to
have,
talk to you.
have you gotten inquiries where they just put like the minimal information?
That's
Yeah.
I mean that's my contact form. It's very short. I just need to know your date, where you're doing it.
But the
and
ones
that's
that
it.
are really, really, really interested in your work, they're actually telling you a lot of
Yeah,
information.
when
The description.
the
yeah.
description, like where I say, hey,
Why?
tell me why you like my work,
Right.
Tell me why
And-
I'm awesome,
and,
right?
and they'll go into depth on why
Yes.
they're considering you.
If they tell us like, hey, like, I just like your photos because they're pretty, like I know it's like a
No, yeah,
lukewarm.
warm,
It's a
yeah.
lukewarm.
At that point, they're just looking for their price
Shopping
shopping.
around,
yeah.
yeah.
But the on the other end of that is like, like not providing resources, like not providing timeline guidance or anything like that until after they book with you. I feel like, we're all, and Karis and I, we talk about this all the time, we, even though our jobs might sometimes seem a little bit, sexy, but at the end of the day, it's still very much a blue collar job. It's very much a service oriented type of job. You got to serve first.
Not sexy at all.
You should have seen me sweating.
We're
this
like
weekend.
the bottom of wedding day. I'm like,
So like, we're there to serve, So like
I see what you mean, though. Like,
that service
from
comes-
an outside perspective, like friends and family, they think you're living like your job is like the easiest, and you're always like
You
shooting at
only
these
work
nice
on
places.
weekends.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
they don't see the grind.
Yeah. So like my point is the service doesn't start when they give you money. The service starts the moment they fill out that contact form.
Yeah.
Agreed.
And if you're gonna help, if that means you have to spend an hour with them, building their timeline, giving them recommendations, giving them guidance and stuff, right? That's what's gonna separate you from your competition. That you're willing to serve them first before dollar signs enter the chat. That's what
Yeah.
I was talking about yesterday.
And
in my
also,
life.
if,
Awesome.
if they don't book you, they're gonna refer you to their friends and family.
oh, you love those emails, right? Like, oh, I can't book with you, but if I have someone in mind, I'll be sure to.
We'll
pass your name
definitely
along.
keep you in mind for future events.
Yeah.
Fuck out of here.
No, you know what though? To your point
Leave
though.
that in the podcast. Fuck out of here.
To your point, I've always felt that like the consultation is your preview of what it's like to work with you.
Correct.
So like if you're
100%.
very, very reserved and very limited, that's the impression that you're giving them of what it's like to work with you.
If you're stingy with your time and your attention and your resources, you're going to attract clients who are stingy with their time, attention, and resources. Okay.
Yep.
You attract what you put out, right? So if you're being stingy with all that stuff, you're going to be complaining about
I
stingy
think we
clients.
talk about this at like on every episode. Like be flexible. Come from like serving.
It's the foundation that we all use.
Yeah.
It's very simple to follow.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Be a good human.
All right. So let's
right.
talk about wedding trends real quick.
Yep.
Wedding.
Karis' wedding trends. Yeah. This segment is brought to you by.
Hey, Karis.
You beat me to it.
Dun, dun, dun.
Dirty, you can keep that one.
Make it louder. I guess we are talking about bridal party.
Yes.
Yes, the trend of couples getting rid of bridal party and less friends and focusing on them.
I haven't seen that trend
More
yet
than-
for us.
Yeah.
I'm like, lately, we have nothing
Last
but
five
large.
weddings I had no wedding
Yeah,
party.
I think
What?
since COVID, like me, it's majority zero bridal party for me.
I
my
had
wedding.
nothing but
A
bridal
little more
parties, big
intimate.
bridal
Yeah,
parties.
intimate.
Yeah,
I
it's
love
definitely
it.
more
Yeah.
intimate. It simplifies the day
Uh-huh.
like crazy.
And love it.
Man, less stressful.
Less stress in the morning.
I will. Some of the people that we met with that we didn't book, by
Yeah.
the way, a good handful of them said they weren't doing a wedding party.
Okay, so this is like the trend going
It's
on from
coming,
this year
it's
to
coming.
next.
Yeah.
I can't wait.
Well,
We just haven't had it yet.
Well, are you guys showing wedding party composites?
That's Moses' repertoire.
So, but that to my point, like we haven't been able to shoot those very much lately because we've been getting a
All right,
lot
mom
of
and
really
dad,
small.
look this way.
I actually did one family composite because they didn't. I don't think they had a
I
bridal
was
party.
there for a family one.
That's the one.
That was the
They
one.
requested it because they were like, "We love this shot, but could we do it with our family?"
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Why
cool.
not?
Yeah,
Different.
that's
Yeah.
See,
It's
pretty
that's
cool.
meaning because
Yeah.
like you could print that.
Yeah.
You know,
What's
the
with
family's
cool.
always gonna be
Uh-huh.
with you.
Yep.
For a long time.
Yeah.
That was a full spread in their album.
Like how many people we talked to in it that were in our bridal party? Now and you want a bridal party shot
Your
hanging
brother?
in your wall.
Just each other.
Our siblings, that's about it.
Right, but let's give you an example. Like
Yeah.
you're better off hanging a picture of your family like
Yeah.
that.
And he does two
And you
roles.
close-
He's
you
brother
know.
and groomsman.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying.
That's awesome.
So what I'm saying is that shot has more meaning to
yeah,
people.
I mean, listen, you celebrate how you want to celebrate. Those people who are important to you, you have them in there. But we're not saying that one is right or better than the other necessarily. It's just this is something that we've been noticing.
But from a storytelling perspective, right?
Mhm.
We can tell we can capture more when there's no bridal party because we're not stopping because that's no longer storytelling. That's more of like these must-have bridal wedding party pictures, right? So that takes an hour of your time, which is I'm not saying that it's don't do it because we do it, but think about that whole hour of you following your couple and just capturing moments and just seeing them interact with their friends and family. Like I'll take that any day, than to stop and doing those stagnant shots.
We've seen it in a couple of different ways. One way that we saw that I thought was really interesting was where this particular couple had a quote unquote bridal party. But when we asked them about scheduling for photos with them, they're like, oh no, we're not doing that. We want one group photo with them. They're not having matching dresses, matching tuxes. They're not going to get ready with us. They're not walking in the ceremony or entrances.
I love
So it's just like it was
I've
basically
had
just a
that.
group
I've
thing.
had that.
Yeah.
A friend group
I
picture.
love
That
it.
was
Yep.
it.
Amazing.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like even the entrances, like
Oh my God, yes.
Oh my God.
I do love the trend now where they let
Yes.
everyone walk in together
Yeah.
as opposed to couple by couple, which takes
Or
forever.
even
Yeah.
How
I
many times
love
have
it.
they spiked the flowers like a football? You know,
Right, like
Or somebody's on
Piggyback
piggyback.
ride.
yes, or like anything that's like all cheesy. We've been there, we've seen it. Like I love it when like there's couple are already in the room. Like cocktail naturally flows into the reception room, and
Yeah.
they're all like walking around, actually like talking to your guest.
Steph, you were
Spend
going to say
time with
something?
them instead of lining up
Yeah.
and thinking what you're
those
going to
entrances.
do.
We've seen entrances
like
like for
15
30 minutes.
minutes.
Sometimes
Yeah.
30
What are you
minutes.
gonna say,
we've
Steph?
seen.
I just feel like they're more chill, but I would say, especially during prep,
Yes.
I have to say there's a difference between the bride with and no, and I see the difference.
They
like,
open up more.
Yes.
yes, they're chill.
It's more intimate for them.
Yes,
They're more like,
yes,
look,
yes.
the fact is,
Relaxed.
at least from our perspective, what we've seen is that, and I don't think that this is any kind of bad intention whatsoever, but sometimes the way that people want to be there for you from your bridal party's perspective can be overwhelming. Can be a little bit obtrusive and create stress as opposed to just being chill and being relaxed. And that happens more often than not when it's like the bride with two people or just the bride and her mom, at least from our perspective. Now, that said, there have been some bridal parties that are amazing.
Yes.
And they're fun.
It's rare.
And they do it right.
Yes.
But Ben, I'm only going to challenge you with one thing because you said there's no right or wrong way. The wrong way is to have a humongous bridal party and a tiny getting ready room. That's the only spot where it's
That's
like
every wedding with a big bridal party.
What's your record? What's the largest wedding party you've ever
man.
photographed?
So this was a family friend that we photographed that they had
he had to keep backing up in the park.
They had 17
And they didn't fit in the
couples.
frame.
Oh, we
How many?
beat you.
We beat
17
you.
couples.
34 plus them.
36 people.
Okay, that's
I got-
We beat you.
We beat
no,
you.
well, we had that, but
we had 36 adults and like 5 kids.
We beat
we still
you.
beat you. 35 girls, 18 guys, 53 total
Sorry, what?
Was that the whole wedding?
in
or-
Manhattan?
in Manhattan. And they had to do a parade
Like
through 2
heat
blocks.
of like 100-degree summer.
Where did you
Outta here.
take like the wedding party pictures?
So we went to Highline. You guys been to Highline?
Yeah.
So
They don't fit on the Highline.
No, listen, listen,
But
listen,
what
listen,
if-
listen.
Were you on the ground and they were sitting on the edge of the
Mira,
Highline?
mira.
Chancleta.
All right. Okay. So you know the Highline entrance on Washington and Gansevoort, right?
The stairs.
The stairs.
yeah. I know what's that.
So basically, I was going to make a giant class picture, like a football team picture.
Oh,
Right?
God.
53 of them, right? Guess what?
What day of the week was this?
Weekend.
Weekend.
It's
Right?
packed in that
Yes,
area.
yes.
So they were yelling at the people
to get out.
to like people that have the legal right of way
Coming
to go up
into
and down.
the-
They're like,
into the
hey, we're trying to
bar."
take wedding pictures. Yo, there's fucking 53 of you. Okay. Actually,
So they
no.
pretty much blocked the whole stairway, which is like
No, there
not-
were 46 of them because 7 of them didn't show up. This was a daytime
Drunk.
wedding. They were hungover. So 7 of them didn't even show up for photos.
Actually, people that showed up were still drunk too.
There-
All right.
Was there an attendance list? You calling names to see make sure everybody's there?
I don't know.
No, there were 53 of them. How are you going to keep track?
You got to
How
air,
did you know 7 were missing?
you got to
Because
air
they told
tag
us,
them.
oh, so-and-so's not here. So we're like, 7 of them not here.
You got to air tag them all.
Fuck, right? So anyway, So we got yelled at by the park ranger. Park ranger's
Of
like, yo,
course.
this is a
They
you
don't
can't
play.
do
weren't
this.
supposed to
They
be
do
there.
not
Yep.
play in the
Not,
Highline.
not in Highline. Yep.
They were like, you can't be. I was like, we understand, but like, you guys can't be blocking. Like,
And
because
then-
because someone they yelled at, one of the joggers they yelled
Yep.
at, the joggers went to go to the
And then
park
they
ranger.
cursed them. Like, yep.
You can't
They're
mess
like-
around
they're
with New
on
York
their-
City
they're
bikers
on
or
their
joggers.
ass.
You cannot.
Yep. They're
So
like,
they're
yeah,
not to be messed
yep.
with.
Yeah.
Steph got called a very inappropriate name on the Brooklyn Band by a biker.
This is true. This
They
is
not
very
mess
true.
around.
Yeah, no.
They don't
no.
play.
But anyway, but honestly, and like if we're going to be telling the truth here, right, as wedding photographers, we do. I think the general consensus is if you do have a smaller wedding party, and that does make our job a little bit easier, right? But we're not going to complain if you have a big one either. You know,
Of course not.
Yeah.
like your wedding's the
This
way
is
how you
your
want to
day.
celebrate it.
Yeah.
If you have 100 people in your wedding party, then so be it. Well, then that's what we're going to be working
Okay,
with,
100
right?
people, no.
There is a cutoff.
Yeah,
There is a cutoff.
But listen, if you have 10 people, 15 people in your wedding party, that's fine. We'll work with it. It's like we've been doing this for a long enough time where
Even 20 is fine.
yeah, but like
Yeah.
yes, having a smaller wedding party does make our life a little easier. So we do
But
appreciate
I
this
think
trend.
overall, bridal party or not, like big wedding or small wedding, like know what you really want. You know, like don't do it just because somebody
Yes.
did it or
Correct.
this person had
Yep.
Yes.
everyone in my bridal party. Just do what's important to you. You know,
And
like,
also,
have
if it
people.
means a lot to them to have their friends,
Right.
Yeah.
Do
Then
it.
have them.
Yeah.
But like, you know, if it's more important to just you and your future husband, just two of you being there, having intimate moment with your just immediate family.
You can
Yes. Then
You can
do
also
that.
do what. So my best friend, when she got married, for years I was like, I'm gonna be a maid of honor. Blah, blah, blah. When she told me she was gonna have a wedding party, I was a little devastated. But then what she did was she incorporated us in a special way. So like we were there with her getting ready. Me and her other best friend.
Right,
So
right.
her other best friend gave the maid of honor speech, or quote unquote maid of honor speech. I like carried her dress down the aisle, and I didn't have the stress of like, you know, having the whole do all the matching dresses or taking wedding party pictures. So you can do that as well if you still want your friends involved.
Yep.
Incorporate them in a special way, but they don't have to do the whole.
or just
to-do.
tell them, listen, hey, meet me here for this photo at this time.
Yeah.
And
And
you
that's
Just
it.
like
Yeah.
everyone,
Yeah.
just come celebrate with me. You know, like just
Yeah.
I always tell couples where they always bring up the fact that if we have asked all our friends to be in the wedding party, it's going to be huge. And I'm like, I'm going to be honest, they would rather not be in the wedding party. And,
Yeah.
and I always get this face, like, and I explain to them why. I'm like, they want to show up later. You know, they want to like be
In the
enjoying
cocktail
themselves.
hour.
Yeah, they don't want to like wake up earlier. It's harder. And then if they have kids, it's even
Ooh.
Yes,
worse.
Yes.
Because now they might have to find someone to take care of the kid or have the kid there.
Mhm.
Like,
Missing the nap time, they're crying.
Yeah.
That gives them time to like chill, get ready
Yes.
at their own pace,
Yes.
and show up right before the
Yeah.
ceremony.
Yeah. So moral of the story: there's no right or wrong. Just giving you the pros and cons.
You do you.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Do you?
Small
right.
wedding parties do make our lives easier.
Actually,
So let's can we wrap it up?
I was gonna say, if you have no wedding party, $200 off any wedding collection from January.
And that is
I was gonna
a
say
wrap.
that.
That is a
I was gonna
wrap,
say
y'all.
that.
Guys, I hope you guys had a great time hanging out with us and hanging out with our friends Moses and Stephanie. You guys did great. You guys are wonderful. Hope you guys learned a whole bunch about what it's like to work with your spouse. Hopefully, we discourage you guys from doing that. Oh, hey, Moses and Steph, where can we find you guys?
Right here in our living room.
Our summer studio.
So our website is www.mosescruz.com and our Instagram is Moses Cruz Photo.
You can also find him at mosescruisesphotography.com as well. He owns that URL as well.
Yeah, Ben likes to look at everybody's extra URLs and see how many they own.
He's like, what's your other URL?
What's your OnlyFans? What's your OnlyFans account?
That's like when Ro was like, "What's your real name, Ben? What's your Chinese name?"
Where are you really from?
It's my Spanish name.
All right,
Benito.
Ben, do the outro, Ben.
Outro.
We know you can do the outro. Do
All
it.
right, guys, listen, thank you so much for joining us today on today's podcast. Hope you guys learned a whole bunch about what it's like to work with your spouse, and maybe we've discouraged you from doing it yourselves. Any case, if you guys would like to check out some of our bloopers, behind the scenes, or anything like that, you guys can find those clips at focus.af on Instagram. You can also follow us on our website.
Focus dash.
You can also check us out on our website at focus-af.com. And also, while you guys are there, check out our summit. They got some summit information. Just go to the top. There's a little link over there. Check us out. We'd love to see you guys in January. But on that note, are you guys all focused AF?
We're focused.
We are now.
Definitely
We are
not.
now.
The Cruzes, are you guys focused AF?
Always.
Yes.
Awesome.
Yes.
Guys, thank you so much for joining us. We'll see you guys on the next one.
Bye.
Adios.
Focused AF is a fun, business-focused podcast for wedding creatives.
Co-hosted by award-winning husband and wife wedding photography teams Ben and Karis.
And Jen and Ro, where we help fellow wedding creatives with their sales and marketing.
With laid-back conversations and real talk with some of our most favorite people in the universe.
And with that being said, are you focused AF?
I am Focused AF today.
We are Focused AF.
I think I might be focused AF.
Welcome to the Focused AF podcast.